my gosh, people, GTA 6 is woke because you have to play as a woman. You see how ridiculous that sounds? People are mad at Rockstar Games for a leak that might not even be true. Seriously, like, the credibility is kind of rocky, especially coming from Bloomberg, since they're the only ones reporting on this at the moment. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, then let me just give you the run through. So a few days ago, GTA 6 had a supposed leak about details about the game. How it's going to have the series' first playable female protagonist, along with a male protagonist, kind of copying the Bonnie and Clyde crime duo, which I think is really cool. We're also revisiting a modern-day Vice City with surrounding area, and they're going to be adding cities and different, map expansions over time, kind of like a live service. And also, the jokes and vulgarness of the jokes are kind of going to be toned down as to not offend so many people, and we'll see how that turns out, I guess. Now, I don't know if I should believe the credibility. If they did get a scoop, that's cool, but if not, I don't know. I'm not too worried about it, because some things in this leak sound really cool, like the female protagonist, but some things like the live service and the, vulgarness of jokes going down, I don't know. I'm not too happy about that. But just to entertain the idea, if the leaks are true, I'm just going to tell you my thoughts on it. I honestly see no problem with the next GTA game to have the series' first playable Latina female protagonist. It really doesn't matter the sex of the character to me as long as the character's written well. Kind of like how the character Ellen Ripley in Alien was kind of a sexless character until Susan Weaver was cast as the character, and then they made her female. I think something like that works really well, where it doesn't matter the sex of the character as long as the character is written really well. Who cares, really? Now, if a pre-established character gets gender swapped, like Taskmaster in the MCU, for example, then I kind of have an issue with it. Now, Taskmaster and Black Widow had way more issues than just being gender swapped, but you kind of get the idea I'm trying to pitch here. GTA 5 was the first game in the franchise to have 3 playable protagonists, and I think it worked out pretty well. If you like the story or not, I think the 3 protagonists things kind of mixed in pretty well. And for GTA 6, it's supposed to be 2 playable protagonists, once again based off the crime duo of Bonnie and Clyde. This idea sounds really cool to me because it's very different from anything we've ever had in the past, and I think it'll be unique to GTA 6 in a good way, where it's not taking away from what GTA is, but just adding something new and cool and different and unique to the game. Plus, I think this is good for character building because they can really work off of each other, kind of like how the 3 protagonists in GTA 5 worked off each other, and it's good. They can build a relationship and build their character, and honestly, I think you can go a far way with this if you actually get yourself invested in the character and not complain about the gender or sex of the character. Now, having the game set in a modern-day Vice City with some countryside is actually a really good idea, in my opinion. Liberty City was first in GTA 3, and then we revisited it in GTA 4. Los Santos was in San Andreas, but then we revisited it in GTA 5. And we haven't been in Vice City since Vice City Stories, which is just a spin-off of Vice City. It's from 2006. So I think it's about time we finally go back to Vice City. Having it in the modern day instead of set in the 80s, and having it reimagined completely for the HD universe and, next gen and stuff, I think it's really going to be cool, the atmosphere that it brings to the game. Also, along with it being set in Vice City, it's said that a lot of interiors can actually be accessed, way more than any in the franchise history, which I think is, really cool. Because even if it is only one city at first and they add more cities over time, that city is going to be rich in stuff to do and places to go, but not just in the city and the countryside, but you can actually go inside buildings, which really adds some dimension to what the game is. Okay, now this is the part of the video where I get kind of worried if these leaks are true. First of all, it claims that Rockstar will add map expansions over time to the game and not at launch, kind of implying it's more of a live service game, which I don't know about you, but live service games don't usually work out too well, and I'm not really a big fan of them. I'm especially worried how Rockstar is going to monetize the game. Now, it's no secret how heavily monetized GTA Online is right now, whether it's the shark cards that cost a lot of money or the ridiculous in-game prices and inflation in the game, trying to force you to buy things outside of the game for in-game currency, of course. I'm worried with GTA 6 they're going to try and implement some sort of battle pass or really force their GTA Plus subscription, which I think is a stupid idea. For those of you who are unaware, GTA Plus is a subscription that Rockstar added to GTA Online a few months back, And it gives you like a few benefits and perks and even access to DLC early. And I'm worried they're gonna really force and push it on us in GTA 6, where like you might get DLC early or get exclusive things just by having it, and it kind of like forces you into it or heavily encourages you to get it, or else you can't have as much fun, which I'm not really a fan of at all. Now, I wouldn't be too worried about GTA Plus being implemented into it if it wasn't successful, but it was very successful because there are a lot of dumb people who bought into it, and just like the shark cards, they bought into GTA Plus. And honestly, it's really worrying me. If anything from this leak ends up not being true, I really hope it's this one, because this is definitely the worst of the news we got. Now, there is one more thing I'm worried about, but not nearly as much as the last one, and that's Rockstar censoring more things in GTA 6. Now, with the release of GTA Definitive Edition, which, you know, is already kind of bad, they did censor a lot of things and a lot of the old jokes and, you know, art stuff that you would find in the original games. So with them toning back the vulgarness and harshness of the old jokes in these games, you know, it's kind of worrisome for GTA 6, because this is something that's less scary to me and just more disappointing. Rockstar have always been infamous for pushing the boundaries of their vulgar and harsh jokes, and really just pushing the boundaries of what is and is not okay to put in their games. And for them to just throw that out the window, I think it'll make the humor in this game specifically very stale in comparison. But I mean, I don't know that because the game obviously hasn't come out yet, and I don't know if any of this is true, of course. But if it is, I hope they can pull it off. But if not, it's going to be kind of disappointing with kind of a stale game with the humor and jokes and stuff. In my opinion, the humor was never meant to be malicious, but just, you know, more of a joke, making fun of people. I feel like instead of making fun of nobody, everybody should be made fun of equally. It adds fun to it, and like people really shouldn't get too offended about it, because like if, you know, we're making jokes about everybody, nobody's excluded from this. It's like still equal, just, you know, we can make fun of people. That's a lot of the fun with jokes, especially in GTA games, is that you can kind of push on people, you know, the boundaries with just making simple jokes that like don't, you know, inflict anything on anyone. It kind of just makes it boring. For example, back in the day, Hillary Clinton talked a lot of bad stuff about Rockstar in the GTA games, and so in GTA 4 they literally put her face on the Statue of Liberty just, you know, to make fun of her. And like, I don't think anyone really found that offensive. Maybe she did, but like, I don't think anyone else really did. And honestly, I don't see that as offensive. I see it funny. I think it's funny. Anyways, there's your latest news and rumors on GTA 6. And honestly, as we get closer and closer to any trailer or news or release of the game, I think they get a little bit more credible, but not always. Especially with this one, I think there's some things that are credible, but not everything is. At least I hope not everything is. If this whole thing is true, I'm happy for the most part. You know, with the female protagonist, with the Bonnie and Clyde thing, I think that's a really good duo, and I think it'll work out really well. But, like, toning down the jokes and stuff, and the egregious monetization, which I'm really worried about, I hope that's, like, not in it, because I'm not very excited for those things. But, going back to Vice City, I think that'll be really cool, and we've been wanting that for years. Anyways, let me know what you guys think of these leaks, if you believe them or not, and make sure to subscribe and like if you joined. Now, see you in whatever video I make next. Yeah. Bye.